So these are all Norwich. I tend to go out and take photographs, sit on the spot and do the drawings, and then I quite like the idea of seeing how far I can abstract and add shape and add pattern before you actually lose the whole thing. It becomes completely abstract. So they are abstract views, so they're maintaining the basic structure of the architecture in the street, but I'm adding and taking away continually, adding shape, line, pattern, in order to get the effects that I want.
Would you take something like that at different times of the day and just add them all together and just look at?
Yes, I do that quite a lot because the light changes. So at different times of day, different things are going to stand out in terms of the architecture in the space. So if it's a very summer day with the sky with the sun quite high in the sky, you're going to get some very bright sections where the light's hitting. So you end up getting very strong contrasty images. The difficult ones are when you're doing an evening or during dusk time or a wet day when it really is quite dull. So you don't get the contrast. And I think as a printmaker, certainly relief printmaking, my interest is in contrast, how the line and the shapes work in contrast with each other. And the colour is almost a secondary point of view. The colour is where I'm in the studio playing just with colour and enjoying mixing up colour. I'm not a traditional printmaker in terms of making an edition. Each one of these is different from its sisters and brothers. I'll roll on the ink and then just with a rag wipe off or wipe it away or tear a piece of paper and put it on top. So when it goes to the press, you end up building up layers and layers and layers of texture. And then the key plate drops down on top that ties the whole thing together. I've been doing the Norwich series for quite a long time, and I wanted to do something that was less about architecture but still maintaining the idea of playing around with shape and pattern and light. And it seemed obvious to move into still life as a relatively neutral subject matter. And so I've got interest in Japanese pattern I brought in, and patterns that are a thread through all my work, the same patterns I keep using over and over again. So that's pretty much where that idea came from. And so I ended up doing 2 in that series. The larger background blocks are cut from lino, so there's 2 blocks cut from lino for each of the colours. And then the final key plate on top is a photopolymer plate. It's called solar plate, which is a bit like a photosensor. It's kind of etching. So it enables me to get fine detail that would be very difficult to cut in wood or in lino. It gives it a unity with the black. The photographic side of it is I do the drawing and then I scan it into the computer, and the plate I make the print from is processed using a photographic system of photo etching. So a negative is placed on the plate and exposed to UV light, and where the light can get with the negative, the plate hardens, and where the light can't get, where the black areas of the negative are, it softens and washes off. So you end up with a relief. You get a relief plate. But increasingly I'm using collage. So these areas are cut out and stuck on. But because the paper is so thin, it's very fine tissue. But Japanese paper won't tear. It's not like using a tissue paper we have here. It doesn't tear, so you can paint on it and print on it and cut it out without any loss of it. But you can collage it on and it goes quite flat. So it's almost hard to tell there's something stuck on top of that. I print the background, then the black, and then cutting out of other pieces that I've printed of the same plate and gluing them on top. It's freeing me up. I'm enjoying this. It's a recent transition for me, and it's enabling me to get more colour and light and texture in a kind of John Piper way, really. Because I do love his work, and you get these scribbles and lines and cut-intos that you can't get necessarily doing a flat print on a press. It doesn't work quite the same way. So I like experimenting. I like playing, continually pushing the boundaries of what I can do and where it can go.